Two-thirds of Americans are at risk to experience blackout. You could be one of them, sitting in the dark and cold for hours, for days, maybe even weeks. Are you ready to protect your family? You could be with Patriot Power Solar Generator 2000X. Folks say this new solar generator from 4Patriots is worth its weight in gold. Why? Because this generator has double the capacity and is expandable so you can run the big appliances like your fridge even longer. Or other devices like an electric blanket, microwave, RV air conditioner, or even an electric wheelchair. You also get 12 outlets, including 4 AC outlets, so you can power more devices at once, and 2 USB-C outlets, which can charge your phone 20 times faster than a regular plug. Best of all, this new solar generator is fume-free, safe to use inside, and never needs gas, ever. Over 150,000 Americans trust Patriot Power generators. Go to 4patriots.com/VTTGW to get your solar generator now. You'll even get a solar panel included free. What's up, Gruntworks Nation? What's up, VTT? It's the Big Earl here, CEO, founder of Veteran Trash Talk. We're going to talk about financial advising because I don't know anything about that, and neither do most of you. However, some of you have money, and are you doing the right thing with it? We're going to bring on Army veteran Ken Hewitt, a financial advisor with Series 7, lightsaber stuff. I don't know, but he's skilled, he's qualified, and he's going to tell you what you should do with your money. So make sure you click on the interested or going on the events tab on either the Gruntworks page or Veteran Trash Talk page. Enjoy the show.
Hey, what's up, trash talkers? Listen, it's impossible to fight, okay, if you don't know what you're fighting for. Does that make sense? Like, if you're in the dumps and you're struggling with mental health, things of that nature, it's going to continue tearing you down, all right? Because you're consistently trying to fight something, which is that demon, which is usually something from the past, right? Maybe that why needs to be fighting for your future. Let that be your why. Get the hell up and start fighting for your future. Stop fighting things that happened in the past. Easier said than done, right? Go seek help. It's okay not to be okay. A lot of people need to hear this. You are more of a warrior and a fighter if you stand up and say, hey, this has to stop. I need to go seek help. The stigma, everything has changed. It's okay not to be okay.
Here is a firm believer in all men are created equal, but not all men live equal. That is why there's a certain select number of people in the DoD who decided to jump out of airplanes. And yes, we are better than you. 100%. Now, don't be the first triggered pansy to say, well, airborne's not relevant. You haven't jumped since World War II. Well, that's not accurate, for one. And two, it's like having a jalopy or a 68 Mustang. Well, a 68 Mustang's no longer relevant. Doesn't matter. It's still a better car than yours. So take it easy this National Airborne Day and just accept that we are better than you.
So, two things for today's Honesty Cap. First thing, how do all my boys from the 101st feel knowing that the Army decided that instead of actually making you airborne, they just create a whole new division that's airborne because you just aren't cutting it? It sucks. Thing number two, for all the folks who were like, oh, airborne, this thing is irrelevant, doesn't even matter. They're making a whole new division of just airborne people because they're relevant. Think about that. How's that feel? Does it hurt a little bit? I hope it hurts a little bit.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, and Buddy. Real warriors making fun of other real warriors. Try to not get triggered.
What's going on, Trash Talkers? Happy Saturday, Gruntworks Nation. Welcome to episode 157 of the Trash Talk Hour. Special guest today is former Army Ranger and author Jeremiah. And today I'm joined by Buddy and the Big Earl. Happy Saturday.
Are you ever a former
Salute.
Army Ranger?
As
Hey,
Army Rangers.
That's what he put in the
heart?
script and in the introduction. So I'm just following what the CEO of Veteran Trash Talk said to do, you know? So point your finger somewhere else.
Once it's in your heart, it's always with you.
It must be because I'm the only non-Ranger on the show, so I'm feeling kind of, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
It was a
Don't
trap.
have that will to win anymore. Just gave it up. Turned in my fucking boots, and I no longer have don't give 110% and then some.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. You're right. That's what I think.
No, I think you are a former Army Ranger. So
Former?
I think everyone's LinkedIn profile says that.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm pretty sure I've introduced we've introduced the SEALs too, former Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
We had all those SEALs on, you know?
You just don't say former Marine, right?
Yeah, you just don't say former Marine. You're right.
Yeah.
Once a Marine, always a Marine. That is correct.
Oh yeah, here's Jeremy Daniels says just less knees and more bad backs. Watch out for that tree. Hey.
Yes, sir.
Worth every fucking crack and bend it hurts. It's worth every second of it. All right. So
Hey, here's the thing. Do you want to slide into heaven looking pristine, or do you want people to look at you and go, "What the fuck did you say?" Personally, I want to show up and St. Peter be like,
"You're good."
It's been a long ride, bro. I'm ready.
What? I'm not even gonna look at the book. I want to hear the stories. Come on in.
Yeah.
Let's fucking talk, my man, my brother in Christ. Let's have a little powwow.
Yeah, Jeremiah, where are you coming from today? What's that pool and the palm trees?
Yeah, I live out in Florida now. I was in Colorado before this, and then raised in California, up in Northern California, though, like the mountains part, the good part.
Oh, like Humboldt, like that area? Well, good.
Yeah, in between Humboldt and Shasta and everything.
Nice. The part where we hope doesn't slide into the ocean.
Yeah.
Hey,
you seen? Yeah. I saw a thing the other day. It had it was like a guy that was doing like a video, and he was like, "Point to where you are on the map, like where you're from, so I know whether or not I care about your opinion about American politics." And they're like, "Well, I'm not from America," and he's like, "Okay," and he's like, "Also, California is not on your map," and he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
exactly.
You are correct.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it bringing me in.
Yeah,
have some fun today.
Should be a fun show. What are you drinking? Are you drinking you're at Paul's house, so you're drinking all this beer again. Yeah.
Well, using my Stein, because I have all my Stein glasses here and my beer glasses.
I love that we're doing the thing that like people do when they're like eating like Latina food or Latino food or whatever, where they like
Latin
get
food,
Spanish there for a second.
I don't think
the food.
It's a little different with me because I actually speak the language. You know, I just want to throw that out there.
This is my Stein. I think it's a Stein.
It is a Stein. It's a Stein.
It's my Stein.
Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah, whenever, like, especially like jump masters, like whenever you're doing like the roll call and the jump master's Hispanic, and then they'll be like Cottrell, Beckwith, Trenton, right, and then Guerrero. Like, why didn't you roll Trenton's R's? Like, what the
legitimately, like they're coming up to people and like there's like that video where they're like they're shaking hands with everybody, and then it's like another Hispanic fucking jumper, and they're like, "What up, homie?" Like, dude, come on.
That's David Stein.
Stein.
Yeah, I got a quick book of world today. I got a quick
your glass.
All right, just a quick one. I had
it's
to add
ticking. That clock's ticking.
Yeah, no, everyone knows that the Book of Earl's like scripture, right? You should follow every freaking letter of it, whatever I say. Like you gotta listen to it. But I had to add this recently. And so it's an addendum to the Book of Earl called, one of the Beatitude addendums. And I just don't be that person that says must be nice. All right. That triggers me. All right. And it's like, oh, it must be nice to have that. Yeah, because I fucking worked for it, clown. Right?
Yeah.
Get off. And again, this doesn't excuse you to be an asshole if you got a lot of stuff, but just try to avoid the must be nice. And especially if you're talking about like kids, right? And my oldest daughter, who, I brag about being a track star as a freshman, right? And, someone's like to her, it must be nice to have long legs like that. And it's like, well, yeah, it kind of helps. If you work with those long legs, there's lots of people with long legs that are slow as shit, right? So it's like I had to like stop her right away. I'm like, Natalie, no.
You automatically, if you have long legs, you just become a pro automatically. That's how that works.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just like if somebody hands you, $1 million, your life's going to miraculously change.
Yeah,
no, it's not.
You see that on all the jackpot winners, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
they're broke for 2 years. Yeah,
I just want to just watch yourself. All right, and I do this. The Book of Earl is always. I'm not being a hypocrite. All right, the Book of Earl is always about my own mistakes too, and I catch myself saying that. And it's like, no, I'm not going to say it. So that's all it is. The Must Be Nice crew got to go. All right, got to get out. All right, if you're jealous of what I have, or if you want what I have, if I want what Buddy has, like I want that clean shaven face of Buddy's. All right, then I'll shave. Right, I want to ask Buddy, how'd you get that clean face, man? Like, I want to know, right? Just like, oh, yeah. See, I'm already triggered by it. And then,
the funny thing is, what you're triggered about is not the statement, right? It's like a social problem. Like people look at the rewards and don't look at the process it took to get to those places in life. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, well, you got a nice car and a decent house and this, that, and the other. It's like, yeah, I do. But I was also like, I did a lot of suffering to get that. Like it's not like it was just given to me or given to anybody, but
mindset is very victim mentality anyway. If you're like comparing yourself to others anyway, you're going to lose. Like you need to focus on yourself first, And people are like, oh, he's got this and that. Well, that's your first fucking problem. Who cares what that other person has? Focus on yourself, man.
First of all,
like, you're your own competition.
It's possible to just be happy for other people that they have.
Oh shit.
You know what I mean?
Just being a good person. That too. Yes.
I legitimately, and I didn't plan on I've legitimately been working on for the last month or so. I noticed something when I was on social media, and it's like I look at the comments that other people put on other people's stuff, and like, why put out the energy to be negative when it's just as easy to put the same energy into being positive or silent? Like
Mick just does that because he's a Facebook terrorist. But
to be honest, like it kind of like most of what I transitions like into or is a pretty decent segue into our guest. But that being said, like a lot of what you see, especially on social media, is like people that comment on like gym stuff. Like people that are working out in the gym, or people that are
I follow that account. That one dude, you need to do better. You mean that guy?
Yeah. There's one like it's a high school kid who's squatting like 800 and something. It's the heaviest completed squat that a high school kid has ever done. Granted, this kid is probably 6'3", almost 400 pounds. He's a man. He's a man. That being said, he still squats this, but like he does this great feat, better than anybody has ever done it in high school. And all these comments are like,
right away,
yeah, but look how out of shape he is. He's fat. Look at he's got man boobs and this, that, and the other. And it's just like, first off, the guy that you're talking about is a child. He's a kid. Yeah. He's a 17-year-old boy. He might be doing man weight and doing man stuff, but he's still a kid. What is your problem? Like, how does it make your day better to tear this kid down who's actively doing something that you will never do?
People do that because their own insecurities, man. You know?
Yeah, well, somehow it makes them feel, I don't know.
Yeah, it makes them feel better. Yeah.
Yeah, your buddy Paul's like that, Dave. Paul's like that. He's real insecure.
I should bring him in. Yeah.
Right away, he's attacking. See, look at the chat. He's attacking Buddy's beard game. Like, why can't you be happy for Buddy?
I don't want to hear it. I feel like I've disappointed Paul. You know what you know why I shave? You know one of the other reasons why I shave?
See, now you got to justify yourself.
Wait, no. There are other reasons why I shave. So I've been going on posts to go to the gym, and I've noticed more and more people have beards that are like in the Army for no real reason.
Oh, it's out of control right now.
And at this point, I'm just like, I'm good, man. Like, I'm done.
Everybody's got that profile, huh?
It was cool to have a beard.
They're Vikings.
Yeah. It was cool to have a beard. It was cool. Like, it was all good. Now I've just gotten to the point, like, everybody's got one. It's just not cool anymore. But look at Paul. Paul's got a great beard. It was all good.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. What you have on your face, I've just transferred to the top. It's just not good.
Fair enough. And you do have beautiful hair, buddy. I just wanted to tell you.
Hey, we're on the Apple Vision Pro, bud.
What is he wearing? Are you going?
We're on the Apple Vision Pro, bud.
Yeah. What does that even do? What are you doing?
Must be nice.
Are you watching us on that?
David, you hit a button. You did the. Damn it.
Anyway.
So I didn't want to.
I feel like he's trying to find
taking this with me
right now.
But
it's pretty badass.
I changed it a little bit because of our guest, and it is. I didn't want to steal Buddy's thunder after the conspiracy of introducing the guest, but the book, The Whole Man Project, the military athlete. Like, we'll get into it when we talk about that. Is I can't stand about the military athlete, right? The way that they treat people, and then say that we're athletes. It's like, you don't know how an athlete gets treated if you weren't ever a real athlete. Like, I mean, we are pampered. Like, in college, I was fucking pampered. Like, I would work out and I would rest, like, not do anything else, like, whatever. But that point too is like, it must be nice to be left-handed. There's lots of left-handed people. There's lots of left-handed people that can't throw the ball 88 miles an hour, dude. Like I had to work on it, So, but anyways, yeah. Dave, do we want to play the conspiracy video first? Or do you want to talk about it first?
I want to talk about it briefly, and I'm going to give my point on it right away, too, so I can just pass it on to the guest after it plays. So I don't know if you guys have seen this video that's going viral on TikTok and on X. This guy named Alex Shaw. He might be in the chat now because I actually went on one of his lives because I was very curious about this. So this guy already had a following of 50K on TikTok. Talking about Airbnb rentals, stuff like that. Zero conspiracy related stuff or zero weird stuff. So that was my first cue to say, whoa, this is weird. And he lives in Florida and he has an Airbnb about 3 hours away. Hold up, buddy. Let me finish. And he has an Airbnb about 3 hours away. And he films this guy on his camera. This guy is going into his backyard, into one of his sheds in his Airbnb. All right. So he calls the police. It's all on camera. The police come in. They go into the shed. They find nothing. And then the following morning, this guy comes back out of the shed, but looks older. Okay. And so this guy's like, this is a time traveler or whatever, like some crazy stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know, man. So again, back to he already had a bunch of followers. Like, why would he jeopardize his following to make up a bunch of bullshit to, get more followers? That's not even the niche that he's doing on TikTok. And then there's a bunch of follow-up videos, and somebody did an AI face recognition type thing, and they're saying that the guy that comes out of that shed is comparable to this guy that died in 2017 and was a Harvard grad, who was a bunch of blogs on this guy about time travel. I don't know, dude. The rabbit hole goes deeper and deeper. It's just some weird stuff. So my take, I don't know, man.
Like, part of me is like, maybe I want to believe this guy. Like, I went on his live, we were chatting. He had thousands of people on the live, and he was going to come on the chat today and actually come on the show briefly and talk about it because we were DMing and stuff, but he's not here.
You slid
So,
into his
dude,
DMs.
yeah, I
Are
don't
we
know,
going to
bro.
see
I don't know. Like,
point in the
the
future?
camera, like you could obviously edit stuff out in the video, like of your home security system, and the guy could have walked out at a certain time, but I don't know, man. Like, part of me is like, this dude like really means it. Maybe there's a tunnel in there, and like
Part
there's
of
just a bunch
Florida.
of crackheads hanging out.
Jeremiah's already scratching his head.
What part of Florida is he in? I want to know what
He
part.
so he doesn't say what part, because it's an Airbnb, it's a rental that he has. Like, he's like a wholesaler, he does rentals and stuff, and he doesn't want people not going. But like, they're gonna be able to recognize the shed anyway because it's viral, right? His
I already have
backyard.
some. I
But
already have assumptions. I already have assumptions based
yeah,
off.
well, let's
Should we
just play the video,
so we know
and
what
we'll
we're
go.
talking about?
Yeah, let's go from there.
Time traveler that went into my shed and disappeared. And this is gonna blow a lot of people's minds. And if you're still denying that this is real at this point, this is gonna change your mind. So just a quick recap. This guy walks around my backyard, goes to my shed, opens the door, goes inside, and disappears. Called the cops came, they went in the shed twice. He wasn't in there. They looked, I looked like an insane guy. The cops were like, what is this guy smoking? And you can see he never came back until the next day right here. Notification on my camera that there's somebody in my backyard, and this guy leaves my shed. And he looks right at the camera too. That guy left my shed. But here's the craziest part. This looks like the same guy, maybe, glasses, whatever. Let's look at the other guy. This was the other guy. He noticeably aged. Looks like the same guy, but aged. So him again, and now him. Same facial features, whiter hair. So I don't even know what to think at this point. Somebody explain this. He literally left the same shed. You saw the camera I put before. There was no movement that whole night. Then the next day, this guy leaves the shed, looks right at the camera like he knows, and he looks noticeably older. I don't know, something's going on. Somebody explain what's going on in my shed. I'll be going there in about a week to give a tour, since a lot of people are asking. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't even know what to think. Did he time travel? Is this a
Anyway, yeah, so obviously there's multiple videos, follow-up videos. I don't know, man. Time travel might be a thing, but I don't think that dude, like, that walked out of his shed is a time traveler. I think it's just some druggie or something, maybe. But I don't know, like, how did he hide in there? That's the thing that I don't get. Like, they show the video on his other videos, they show the whole lapse of the full night. Like, he's like fast forwarding through it, and there's like nobody that walks out. And the cops, I don't know why the video didn't show it, but the cops like come there, go into the shed,
Chris, our
search
marine
it.
producer, didn't give me that.
Yeah.
I had to do that button before we went live.
Yeah,
When
correct.
when I
So
was practicing, bullshit.
I'm gonna say no to time travel now. This AI facial recognition thing that ties it to somebody who died back in 2018, like, who knows? I'm gonna say no to time travel. I'm just gonna say maybe there is something fishy going on in that shed. He says there's no back door, right? Like, the full shed, there's only one entryway. I don't know, man. I'm stumped on this one. I'm just gonna go like something crazy is going on, but I don't know what it is. Jeremiah, what are your thoughts? Do we got like a real life time traveler?
I mean, honestly, I think it's pretty clear, man. I think obviously number one is that it's not a time machine. The guy that went in there was a totally different. He looked totally different. He was like Dominican or something. The guy that came out was like white. And then, but is there something fishy with the shed? Yes, obviously there's something fishy. And if you're really putting two and two together here, didn't they find aliens in the bottom of the ocean? So in my guess, and what I think is the answer here is that shed goes to the ocean. There's an underground tunnel system, obviously, leads to the ocean, and that was a shapeshifter, not a
reptilian. A reptilian. That's
exactly.
a whole different rabbit hole.
Obviously,
I like it. I like it. Obviously, I mean. All right, good take. I like that, buddy. What's your? I mean, this is better than the Miami Mall, bro. Buddy.
First of all, I noticed a lack of 1980s sports cars, namely a DeLorean, in this video. Therefore, time travel has been debunked. Because everybody knows in order to time travel, you either need a DeLorean or
ambassador.
an 1800s train.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay?
fair.
So
Fair. Okay.
we're already going to scratch out DeLorean
Yeah.
or time travel because there's
Time
no
travel.
DeLorean,
Yeah.
right? So we're using common sense to just move down the list. The next thing, I don't think time travel is this guy's problem. I do think that what he might have is a subterranean methamphetamine person problem. Like, I feel like there's a sick meth party going on just underneath the surface of this guy's Airbnb. And he's just jumping, playing a little game called Jump to Conclusions, where we think it's time travel. And they might be time warping in their mind. Because they're high as giraffe vagina in the bottom down there. I'm guessing they've dug into maybe a sewer, huh? Maybe they're
like that.
It's another case of Florida,
turtle.
man.
There's a rat, some type of. They're down there just doing meth and having all types of weird like meth orgies down there in the bottom. There's no back door to that. There's no back door to that shed, but there's some back doors getting violated underground right there.
I'm sure.
Going down.
Okay. So your take is definitely that there's something weird going on. Like, definitely not. The guy's not making it up. Like, that's what got me. The first time I saw the video, I was like, this guy is faking the funk. But then I looked at his followers, and he already had a large following, and none of his stuff was conspiracy related. It was all Airbnb. Why would you jeopardize all that to make up a fake story and then lose all your viewers and stuff because you were full of shit? That just doesn't make sense.
The malfeasance, what you can attribute to ineptitude. Like
you can't spell either. You can't spell either of those two words you just said.
The guy,
no chance.
Doesn't mean that he time traveled. It means that they're not good at looking. That's what it means. And then the next guy came out again. Doesn't. First of all,
you already said. First of all,
time travels to Florida. Like, out of all the places, why would you time travel to Florida? You could go forward in the future in Florida. You might be 100 feet underwater. That would be bad.
Yeah, you time travel and die.
Yeah. No, I would time travel at the top of a mountain somewhere. That way, something fishy went on. I'm good. You know what I mean?
Point.
Like, I would time travel to. If I was going to time travel, 100%, I would time travel to I don't know, Fort Knox somewhere. Or somewhere where I could where I knew I was going to get a bunch. And then when I time traveled back, that's the other question I have. If you time travel forward in the future, and then the next day you time travel back, why are you older? You should be the same age. You're coming back.
I don't know how that works. Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? Very weird.
Well, there's a clear explanation to that. Is we can kind of go with both Jeremiah and what you said, buddy, but it's actually that's Moses. All right. So everybody knows that when Moses talked to the burning bush, it aged him. Right. If you see God in the Old Testament, you age.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that there's some more spiritual stuff to this. I think it's a prophet. I think if we actually find this guy, he's gonna lay down some serious stuff. He's gonna, maybe he's gonna
lay down some shit. That's for sure.
He's gonna be like,
that's undeniable.
He's gonna be like, hey, I know God said He never flood the earth again, but you guys are fucking crazy. So
it's on now.
This guy can figure out. This guy can figure out time travel, but ring cam is above his pay grade. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
He was defeated by a ring cam.
Yeah. Well, maybe in the portals he's been in, there was no ring cam. So maybe that's why he looked at that camera and was like, what is that? It's possible. But on another side about Florida, all right, and seeing as, Dave's never been to Ranger School and doesn't understand the swamps of Florida, right? You're out in the middle of nowhere, literally nowhere. And this kind of supports Buddy and Jeremiah's theories. You all of a sudden you just come up on a bunch of clay pots and a bunch of burnt metal. I'm like, this is literally a meth lab. like in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, how in the hell did they even get here to start this meth lab? Like, there isn't a goat trail within 4 fucking miles of here. You know, so it's like I don't know. A lot of weird stuff happens in Florida.
Here's what I'll tell you. I would have appreciated a little bit of methamphetamine when I was in Florida. I was tired. I was so tired. I was so fucking tired. I was so sleepy.
Yeah, there's a few times where I would have 100% done cocaine. Like, and Florida was one of them.
If an RI had walked by
my
and been
God.
like, hey, there is a good chance you're going to become addicted to this, but here's a couple crystals, I might have said, you know what, fuck it. I'm good. I need something. Because this whole standing up is not working. I'm just falling asleep against a tree.
Is Chris Scott the guy?
No.
Is that just somebody saying hi to you? Oh, okay.
No, that's somebody I know. Yeah, that guy didn't come on. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe he's in the future.
Yeah, maybe he's already watched this.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a good question. Here's a good question for everybody. If you had the chance to travel forward in time or back in time, which one would you go back or would you go forward?
Well, the question on that one is, can we go back or can we come forward then again? Like I'm saying, if I go forward, do we have two? Can I come back to
a return trip? It's a round
current
trip.
time?
Oof. That's a good question.
Well, from a financial standpoint, I'd go forward and pick like the lottery numbers and then come back, and then my family and my family's kids and everybody would be good to go for the rest of their lives. Like,
the Cubs win the World Series.
Yeah. Or I could actually become a rapper, like from back in the day, and then like get all the lyrics from all the famous rappers and stuff and just like make a massive album.
Yeah.
Nick would be a pro baseball player, you would do, I don't know what sport you played in school, buddy. You don't really talk about that much.
Buddy played the tuba.
I still would not have the physical attributes to play line.
Yeah, I guess not, but maybe you could have done something better,
I could go back. I could go. The only thing I could do is go back in time, and when my mom and dad copulated, I could be like, "Yo, one of y'all is gonna have to like find somebody else."
Can you take anything with you back in time or forward?
Ooh, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like
that guy.
You can either go forward in time and like get some strategy that's going to make you rich, or go back in time with something that's going to blow people away and just have a fun time. Like imagine just showing.
Yeah, you'd be a god. You'd be a god if you would. It's like, take a lighter and just light it.
Yeah,
the middle of Gettysburg with a 240 and about 30,000 rounds. Just be like, "We win, guys. War's over."
Linda, what's up, Linda?
I want to go back.
She go back
Linda, further.
Where would you go back to? But yeah, I would
go to Egypt. I want to see how the pyramids were built.
I mean, just showing your cell phone, your flashlight,
anything,
cell phone would trip people out. Like.
And they made a movie with Mark Lawrence about
that. The battery would die though eventually, and then nothing would work anymore. Yeah. But then you still have your cell phone, which, like, if they took it apart, would be cool.
You'd have to have an agenda to get the most out of it.
But by that time, you'd already be a god, and you could convince them that it was their fault the battery died, and you could kill half of them. Right?
Yeah.
So, all right.
We're gonna cut everyone's head off.
Or you get killed. I don't know. It might be safer to travel a little bit into the future. Like back then, man, you just show up like in the fucking whatever century and you're just like standing there. I don't know, man.
Crazy. Well, buddy,
I have to think about that one. That'd be a good movie, buddy. That'd be a good movie.
Let's get into the whole man project.
Let's do it. And it is my distinct pleasure to introduce. I'm going to read it. Jeremy Sullivan is a high performance coach and entrepreneur behind the leadership training company. Here's the thing. I'm not reading all that.
Yeah, don't.
Here's what I know about Jeremiah. Currently.
Bro, hey, I gotta stop you though. Only people over 80 call me Jeremy. So
hey, I'm close. So we're getting there. We're fine.
All right, go ahead.
So Jeremiah,
read good.
I don't have to read all this. Here's what you need to know about Jeremiah. Everybody in the real world knows that if you look at a dude and the things hanging off his side of the ears, or the side of his head, have a little bit of cauliflower to them, you listen to what that dude has to say, and you also don't pick a fight with him because he'll fuck you up. So Jeremiah was in the Ranger Regiment. I don't know if the cauliflower ear came before, after, during. It doesn't matter to me because I'm not going to let him track me down and beat the shit out of me with his fucking slick wrestling and MMA moves. But Jeremiah has written a book called The Whole Man Project, which I think is to be honest, is a very interesting look at how to win, how to be, physically your best self. I've only had I just got it a couple days ago. I have browsed through it, but I'm looking forward to hearing what you've got to say about it, Jeremiah. And look at, there you go, the Whole Man Project, Military Athletes Performance Manual by Jeremiah Solvin. Solving problems. That's what we say.
I
Oh,
like
yeah.
it. Oh, good punchline.
Solving all your issues.
That's two of our last three guests. You were able to do that. So you had Joe selling houses.
I'm finding a niche with my dad humor and
Yeah.
people's last names. That's what I do.
Thanks for the intro, though, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah. So,
Floor's yours, brother.
This is your turn to talk. My
Yeah.
bad. I didn't put that in
I'll
there.
jump in.
Sometimes
Welcome to the dumpster fire.
Sometimes
We don't know what the hell
guys
we're
from
talking
Ranger
about.
Regiment do need to be told you're allowed to speak now. Go ahead. Go ahead. Say what you want to say.
No, thanks for having me on, guys. I mean, honestly, I got caught up in just listening to the whole thing and, forgot that I was here as a guest to talk versus just be here for the show. But no, I appreciate you guys promoting the book. I did write it. I came from like a small town in Northern California and had a hard time believing I could be successful in anything. And when I got into the Ranger Regiment, I was really pumped and I wanted to teach people how I changed myself to get into there. So I wrote the book, and it's a great book, not only for people that are trying to get into SOF or be better, but it's good for entrepreneurs, business owners, anybody that wants to like combine fitness and just with high performance, just become a better person. I help with decision-making, visualization, sleep. I just bring it all together in that book, and it helped transform my life. So yeah, I appreciate you guys promoting it.
So tell everybody that's watching, tell them a little bit about your military career, how long you served. You were an officer, right? And then what kind of inspired you? Did you write the book as you got out? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did you get the book? Did you write the book as soon as you got out? Was it a thought that you already had in the military? Like, how did that whole thing look like?
So, I mean, I grew up hunting bear in Northern California and in a town of like 300 people. And I didn't even know what like success was. All I knew is that I had to get out of that town. That's like what my dad taught me. He said, if you want to be successful, he's like, you got to leave this town. And so I wanted to be an athlete. That was the thing in high school. I wrestled and I just didn't do good enough. I just basically failed at that. So ended up kind of drifting, ended up in a community college shortly after that and was doing the party thing. Like I was going to school, no purpose, no direction, coming home, drinking, being drunk by like 2 p.m. and just doing that over and over again. And signed up for the military out of desperation. I was like, I got nothing going on here. My life feels like shit. I was chasing this dream. I failed at it and ended up signing up for the military. I was an engineer when I came in. So I was actually on the support side. I was a 21 Tango. So I did civil engineer work. And I found myself in Iraq about a year after I signed up. I was there for 15 months. And I bounced around a lot. It was a very low kinetic deployment for me. I had a vehicle in front of me that blew up, but I wasn't like kicking indoors and stuff like that. Right. We had an officer.
Every engineer says they kick indoors, just like MPs. Come on.
Well, they're either better than I or did something different than I are, or they're full of shit. But
one of the two. Yeah.
It's referred to as breaching.
Yeah, breaching. Sorry, but
so strong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I turned 20 and 21 in Iraq. I was there for 15 months. And so that was like, I had a lot of time to think about life and shit, and we had an officer in our unit. He was in his early 20s and he was killed by a roadside bomb. So it was like a weird deployment for me in that I got a lot of time to think about life. There was people that were around me that were dying. And I was in this spot where I was kind of figuring out what I was going to do with my life, because I had settled for just a traditional path that kind of made sense. Becoming an engineer wasn't like some big dream. I just thought that it made sense to me. I was like, oh, I could use this when I get out, And on that deployment, I decided that I had basically quit on myself. You know, I was like, dude, you quit. You try to be an athlete. You failed at that. Now you're in the military. You didn't even go after anything that you really wanted. You just settled for this. And so I made a decision that I was going to try to make a bigger difference in the military. I was going to try to, get into become an officer. And then I was going to get into the infantry because I was in this city in Bakuba in the 82nd we're going through. You guys were all in the 82nd.
No, we
Oh,
were
what
there.
year?
We were
What
there.
year?
We were doing it.
2006, 2007?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Second Platoon Charlie Company. That was us.
Bro, so
Bravo Company was also there.
You guys are.
So this was like the
What
summer.
was the guy that got shot in the ear? The squad leader they all made jokes about. Yeah, they're like, yeah. We were in the Palm Girls every day.
I was there when we cleared the entire city.
Oh,
because
so the bad guys are already gone.
You cleared
Yeah.
the entire city.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
We did.
No, it's actually crazy because we took over that school that then 573 lost all those guys like a week later, which is pretty shitty when that V-bid rolled in. Yeah, Bakuba was nuts. Anyway, go ahead.
Bro,
Bakuba was crazy.
I was there putting in a patrol base as you guys were going through clearing it.
Yep.
And we were also attached to the 25th Infantry Division.
Mhm.
So they were blocking off the roads and we were in there putting up a patrol base. And I remember there was one giant gunfight going on. Apaches were coming in like a half a mile or a mile from my spot. And I remember being done with the patrol base and it was like 2:00 in the morning and I'm just sweating, listening to this gunfire, feeling just like, fuck, man, like, fuck, I should be over there. Like, I shouldn't be like just sitting here putting in this base and shit. I got the competitive nature in me, and I'm like, the Warriors call hit me. And so I just like reflected and I said, you know what, I'm gonna get over there. I'm gonna change my path. I dropped a green to gold packet. I was scared as shit to do that because I didn't think I was gonna be good enough to qualify. And went to green to gold and then went back to college. College was a fucking stressful time for me because I had adjustment disorder and like all types of issues from just being deployed and then back in school, and failed a ton of courses, kept moving forward. I got a shit ton of grit. So I eventually made it into the infantry and got to Hawaii. My mentor was from the Ranger Regiment and he really started developing me, and I had wanted to be in special operations before I met him, but still struggled with the belief, And so it was just like this split with like, I think I can do this. I can get into SOF. I can't, it's kind of like that push-pull relationship with it. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to do a good job at my job as an infantry officer and not get fired. Right. So, but point being is he started, believing in me and he convinced me to try out for the Army's best Ranger competition. I did that and then went into regiment right afterwards and qualified and made it. And so when I got there, it was basically a 9-year journey for me where I went from washout college dropout to I'm going to try to change my life. And I have this vision of me becoming somebody. I just don't know what it's going to look like and put my head down. And I woke up and I was in the regiment one day. And that was a huge victory for me, because not only did I get to the regiment, but I was a Strike Force Ranger PL there. And at the time
Nice.
that I was, so there was, they were really downsizing in 2014, 15. And there was just two Ranger platoon leaders that went overseas from 275 to Afghanistan. And I was the Strike Force 1 guy. So it was like, for me, it felt a lot like I had played flag foot. I was the water boy of the flag football team as a 21 Tango, and then here I am like key player. I don't know if you want to call it the quarterback or whatnot, but I'm like calling, in charge of capture kill missions. And it was like fucking crazy. Right. But that was a big transformative experience for me. So I wrote the book basically to teach people the tools that I use to change myself, to get over the fears, the doubts, and become somebody different. Yeah.
Cheers to that. That's pretty badass. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. I skimmed through the book as well, trying to pick up on some of it. And I like one part in there. I wish I would have put a thing in there, but it's like
I haven't read it yet. I will though.
I'm gonna butcher this, but I want to give the whole
Dave.
book away.
Dave only reads it if you read it in German.
Yeah, try the things you do daily differently.
Yeah.
I think you called it like the reverse thing or
practice the opposite.
Practice the opposite. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically one of the things that happened to me was that this helped me in entrepreneurship too. So now today, like after I left the Ranger Regiment, I became an infantry commander. I was with the conventional army. and I did finish my deployment, my 4th one to Afghanistan. And then after that, I was kind of searching again. What am I going to do next in life? I started working with a mentor, and I ended up running 100 miles in the Colorado Rockies, like no train up, just signed up. And 6 days later, went out and ran it. It was a fucking gut check. And at 11,000 feet. So I went out there and ran it, and I realized that it was time for me to get out of the military. And so what I started doing was teaching people, coaching executives. I started coaching them on leadership, high performance, fitness, mindset. And then the whole thing just snowballed. And now I've been like published in Forbes magazine. I was in Entrepreneur magazine. I've coached leaders of like $1 billion company before. And so it was just like took off. But the point with all that is that like the book, it was a starting point for me changing myself. And then, it turned into just something so much more. I just kept changing me. But along the way, as I got into entrepreneurship, I tried to buy my first house in 2013 and was rejected. So basically what had happened is I gotten some success in the military, but I was failing outside of the military. Right. And when that happened, I realized like that what I knew about success was wrong. I was like, if I can't buy this house, then that means that what I did leading up to here is wrong. So I decided to like brainwash myself and do everything differently with my life. I started going to the gym differently, I changed all my habits. I changed the way that I slept. I put my wallet in a different pocket. I read different books. I just mixed everything up in my life to basically shake me up. And at the same time, that helped me in business and entrepreneurship. It got me exposed to different information, but then it also helped me on the path to becoming a ranger. I started studying ranger type books. And so anyways, I basically broke the habit of being myself by practicing the opposite. And that led me to the Ranger Regiment and then success as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And again, this goes back to the must be nice people. A lot of people like to read stories like this. And not only stories, but guidelines, because again, don't knock on somebody for trying to learn, right? Don't knock on somebody who's asking for help. Hey, how did you do this? How did you do that? How did you get here? Right? Those are the people that, that I like to circle myself with. I like to put people in my circle that are either really successful or ones that are always asking how to get there. Yeah. Right? The ones that are like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? Because then you can just be a fly on the wall and listen. And but that practice the opposite, I've actually never heard that before. So it caught my eye right when I was skimming through the book. So it's a pretty good tactic. So when you guys go get this book, and where do you go get it? Because I got to put it in the chat. Normally our producer has 7 monitors up, and you can just QR code.
Yeah. You guys, it's on Amazon, and you can go to Barnes and Nobles and order it online. It's in either one of those places. Amazon would probably be the fastest place for everybody to pick it up. And there's 2 copies. There's an older one that I published, and the newest one that you have there is it has the helmet on it, and it's the only hard copy that we have. So the old version doesn't have the hard copy. The newer one is. So
nice.
So I also skimmed through your book, and I have 3 questions.
Send them. What do you got, bro?
One of them.
Probably going to be pretty good. He acts like an idiot, but he's pretty smart.
By the way, he went to Austin Peay. So
this guy's a savant. I can sell. Yeah. Go ahead.
He is.
I skimmed through this whole book. What I did not find is the section that tells me who carries the boats.
Yeah.
Am I missing that section? Is it in the older version? Do I skip it? Because that's what I've apparently been told about the military, is that you've got to figure out who's going to carry these fucking boats. And they are heavy from what I've been told.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No boats other than Ranger School in my military career.
Yeah. Well, I have had some boat experience, and let me tell you, everyone carries the fucking boat. Let's see. No, I really do have. So you talked about at the beginning how you kind of you left your town, you wrestled. There was a little bit of some success, some failure, right?
Yeah.
You went to college, didn't work out. You joined the Army. You went back to college. You had problems there. And I asked this for a reason, but how big of some people don't look at it this way, but how big of a blessing is failure in your life?
Oh man, bro. It's fucking
little failures.
It's the best. You have to learn how to fail though, and pull the lessons out. And I think a lot of people forget how to pull the lessons, so they get trapped in the failure. But any lesson, anytime you fail, like, and you get the lesson, that's the unlock for the next level. You know,
Right.
like one of my first speaking engagements was with that $1 billion company that I told you guys about. I had no fucking clue what I was doing. I went out there with a PowerPoint slide and a suit, and I got out there and I taught them some shit, but they really just wanted some military stories, you know? And I was trying to teach them high level, like, leadership stuff. And they just wanted me to, they were older guys, had money to spend, and they just wanted me to come tell them stories. But anyways, point is,
Pink Mist.
yeah, bro. But I I felt like I just completely jacked that up. But then afterwards, yeah, you get the lesson, you get better. You're like, oh, I need to tell more stories. They don't care so much about this. And so it just keeps going like that. Right. And I think that's the thing.
Right. Well, and the reason I asked that question is because, we've all been to tough schools, tough places,
Well, not Dave. But.
Tough scenarios, tough things. You know what I mean? And the thing that I have found to be almost universally like a truth are that the people that have never had to struggle, that have either been physically a lot more talented than other people when they were in like whatever sport they played in high school, college, or even professionally. They've been smarter, and when they were in college or high school or even in the professional world, didn't have to struggle very much intellectually. When they get into a position, especially in the military, where everything is not optimized, where you're not eating the best food, you're not getting as much sleep, so your mental acuity has been kind of diminished a little bit. Like those people, when they've gone 25, 30 years of their entire life and never have really tasted failure, when they taste it for the first time, it's a meal
that even more devistating. Yeah, it's even more devastating.
Look at Cam Newton. Look at Cam Newton.
It's a meal they can't digest.
Yeah.
It absolutely crushes them. There were people, like I remember going to, whether it was selection or the Q course even, and getting there, and you do the same thing no matter where you are. If you're in airborne school, if you're in air assault school, whatever.
12 hardest days in the Army.
If you're at Ranger school, whatever, you look around at that first PT formation and you look at the other people and you measure yourself up to the people that are around you, and you look around and you're like, am I gonna make it? These motherfuckers are beasts. Like that dude is a baller. But like even at like and the biggest thing that's always stuck.
It's all visual though. You don't see what's in here.
Selection. In selection, you go through the first week is all the gates, and then the second week you go through land nav. And of course, they start you out at midnight. You do the STAR course until you get done at 9, 10, whatever in the morning. So you're going all night. And of course, I don't know how they do it, but it's rainy, it's cold, it's bad outside, and they always have warming fires at where the cadre are. And if you quit, you can go stand by the warming fire. If you don't quit, you go get your little poncho out, throw it over your head, and you go to sleep, and you wake up and you get ready at midnight the next night to go do it again. Right. And the crazy thing to me was like when you came in at the day, all those guys that were like 6'2" were like college football phenoms, or like were really good. Once it started raining, it got cold, and they couldn't find a point. Like they found maybe 1 point, but they didn't find all of them. They had that little the self-doubt that creeps into people that have never failed is a cancer that it's very hard to cure, because resiliency is it's just like any other exercise that you're going to do. If you don't work that muscle.
Yeah, I met one of my this black belt that so I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, but this black belt came into this gym. But I was like, this guy.
I thought you were scary. Just purple belt. All right, never mind.
This white. I was a white belt at the time, and black belt comes in the room, and he's like, guys, don't be impressed by my belt. He's like, all that this means is that I've been tapped out more times than you.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's 100% a real thing, and I think that people look at failure in a negative connotation. It's like it's got a
Absolutely.
negative connotation, but it's 100% your own perception. If you look at it as a negative, then it's going to be a negative. If you look at failure as an opportunity, it's going to be a completely different story. And I think that your book actually goes through that in like some of the resilient stuff that you're talking about. And then the other thing that I wanted to ask you is, did you ever, going from being a 21 Fox or Tango or whatever, the civil engine,
Not infantry.
11 Bravo. That's the only one we know. Everybody knows that, right? So stop throwing numbers out there. We don't think you're
You're
smart.
not
Okay?
11 Bravo. Anything?
So yeah. It's 11,
Whatever your not 11 series career was.
Yeah,
Right
exactly.
about that.
But so going from being a civil engineer to being an infantry officer, or being an infantryman or an infantry officer, and then going to Ranger Regiment, did you ever feel any imposter syndrome? And while you did, how did you deal with it? Because that's a thing that we all feel. At everybody that goes through any of that stuff looks around and goes, and I think, to me, I think that's why people that are in those kind of positions, in SOF or in whatever, that's why they continue to get better, is because they feel like they're continually trying to prove themselves, because they don't believe that they're supposed to be there.
Oh yeah, like when you have imposter syndrome, you put in 10 times as more work trying to make up to compensate, right? Yeah,
Right.
I had a big time, dude. I didn't read a full book until my 20s. Okay, in like my early mid 20s. And when I got selected for Green to Gold, I knew I was going to have to go back to school, study, and at infantry officers and getting into SOF, like not only am I going to have to read, but I'm going to have to know my shit. Like I'm not going to be able to just read the cliff notes of a book. I got to get academic. And that was a huge Achilles heel for me, because I had the work ethic, but I didn't have the academics. I didn't have the study habits. And I didn't have, I had issues with reading comprehension when I was younger too. So it was a huge issue for me. So I felt like a big time imposter just starting on the path. And the other thing that, so I had that issue, and then also being from a small town, identity, which was an identity issue, right? I'm a small town kid. I can never do something like that. That little nagging voice. And then as my military career progressed, it took me a while to learn this, about myself. But I learned that the bad habits that I was stacking up added to the imposter syndrome I was having at work. So I was a guy that was a superhero by day, fucking villain at night, right? And that's a little bit of exaggeration, but you put the suit on me and I'm Mr. Officer. I'm a high achiever. I've got direction. I've got morals. I'm going to do everything that's right. But you take the uniform off of me and now it's freedom time. I'm going to go drink a half gallon of vodka. I'm going to put down a fifth of whiskey tonight, this weekend, and I'm just going to go do whatever the hell I want, and sometimes that got me to some pretty close calls where I almost got in some serious trouble. And other times I didn't get in any trouble, but when I woke up on Monday, I just had massive anxiety, didn't feel like I belonged. And so those bad habits that I had really beat me down and added to the imposter syndrome. So what I learned over the years is that some ways to change your imposter syndrome is, one, if you have habits that your conscience is telling you to cut, you got to cut those. Like I knew I was doing wrong. I knew I was drinking way too much, being destructive, and I should have pulled shit back. So I should have fixed that. And then number two, I got to be in alignment, right? So that's number one. I have to be in alignment. The more pure I am and the more in alignment with my conscience I am, the less of an imposter I feel like. I have less fear. I feel less of like I'm going to get caught. And then the other thing was just getting exposed to the right people. Like when imposter syndrome starts to go away when you're in the team, right? Like when you start doing the actual work, like people want to believe that they can be the person before they've actually done the work to be the person. And so there's this little nuance between feeling like an imposter and just being new at something. And I think a lot of people are just new at something and they think that they confuse that with being an imposter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
No, I like that. And we've talked about this kind of topic on the show a few times. And another thing in your book, which is what we all have to do, and what the people who do great things do, is self-reflect, right? Is being able to, look at yourself in the mirror and be like, now I'm going to try that. Do things opposite. Like I'm going to try that one for sure. Because, you know, and Dave knows this because Dave and I are close. You know, we talk a lot. We yell at each other a lot sometimes, you know, and it's like, you know, you have that self-reflection.
It's good though. It's good though.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, maybe I was a dick, you know, like, hey, let me maybe a little bit. Right? Let me find out and see what I was doing wrong. But what I want to get to that with the imposter syndrome is because you catch that. I catch that with my kids in athletics. You know, a lot. It's like, oh, I can't beat that girl. I'm like, have you looked at your times? Like
don't deselect yourself.
You're already freaking out. Like you're already gone. And so we had a guest on the show, JC Glick, who's also on the 75th podcast as well with Mike. And I think imposter syndrome is one of the hardest things for a really, really good, awesome person to be really, really great. Right? Like, but the hardest part of imposter syndrome, and this is my opinion, so correct me, open for discussion, obviously, is you could be doing all these great things and everybody is loving it, liking it, and you are still holding yourself back.
Oh, every time.
Well, yeah, it's like you're just waiting for them to find out that you're not as good as they think you are. And like they're not even looking for it, and you're like, oh, they're gonna find out one of these days that
it's gonna come.
Yeah, I've been faking it through all of this.
Yeah.
And JC opened up to me about that a couple years ago, and I was like, you know how awesome you'd be if you stopped fucking talking like that, you know? And he looked at me kind of sideways, and I was like, no, seriously, like so many people respect you. I respect you, like you're not taking risks and chances to be even greater because, like Buddy just said, like, what if they find out I'm not?
Yeah, some of that's a self-image issue too, right? It's like seeing yourself a certain way. And a lot of guys, a lot of vets, they make past mistakes and then that shit carries with them into the future. And so they have a negative perception of their own self and it builds up. One of the things that I personally did to get myself out of the small town kid identity was I created a persona for myself to get into the Ranger Regiment. I created a fictional character in my mind of the guy that I needed to emulate and become. And I just started working on developing his habits. You know, I knew that he was going to wake up earlier. I knew he was going to study more. I knew he was going to start doing cardio differently. And so I just got my habits more in alignment with the vision of what I knew was right. And that helped me a lot with entrepreneurship too, because I didn't know how this game was played. And what I really just had to do was like study successful people and adopt their habits. And by aligning my habits with that identity of who I wanted to be, little by little, the imposter syndrome starts going away, you know?
Yeah.
That's just that internal reprogramming, right? Rewiring, basically. Yep.
Yeah. And your subconscious is constantly recording everything, right? So your subconscious,
100%.
It's like a fucking whiteboard.
We are like our parents. We are like what we were raised to be, and our thoughts and feelings and how we react to any situation in life is literally what we were taught. And that's why, you know, you have people that are like racist now and stuff. They've never been taught different. You know, it's that internal wiring, that internal programming. But you can get that all fixed and have a different outlook. Like sky's the limit. Yeah, absolutely.
As long as you get this book and read it.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta read the book.
Gotta read the book. Practice things opposite. Practice the opposite. I fucking love that. I'm definitely gonna do that. Yeah, and Dave, you brought up a good point with kids and I watch it with sports and I actually kind of get a little you know, I get the feels, you know, when I watch these kids compete, right? And I watch the ups and downs, you know, and you start to think about how robotic your life has gotten as an adult. And it's like you're missing that emotion that doesn't have to stop. Like, why did we stop doing that? Why did we try so hard to get into a life that's fucking boring, right? With no ups and downs. Because we're afraid.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, so today I'm watching a track meet in the district finals for like the middle school, and I'm watching kids who get their PR for you know, at the district. Then you get kids that are 2 feet shorter than what they normally do in a long jump, and they're destroyed. Right. And it's like, it's just that putting themselves out there and competing like that. And, you know, I guess that's like, you know, where it's like, what I see with this book for people who want to go read it is like, if you get yourself into a rut or you don't know why you're not going somewhere you want to go, you probably put yourself there.
Yeah. 100%, man. Cause and effect.
Yep. Holy shit. Yeah. What else? What else we got? I was gonna say we could stay talk on longer, but we all just got the feels kind of. But buddy, are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? Perfectly fine. Actually, I was
You were looking at my shirt,
I was
buddy.
just
We
thinking
we,
of
we
my
got to
next
promote the shirt today. You know.
I was just thinking of my next great question, which was how do you feel about the theory that the process is more important than the outcome?
I mean, that's kind of a catch-22, but I think that like the process is always more important than the outcome. But the thing is like the outcome is what drives the process, you know. And I think that I gotta be careful with my words here because I
Yeah.
think I think there's too many people that chase a result and
Yes.
far
Stop
too many.
focusing on the outcome, and that creates that I can't do it. You know.
Well, it takes away the control, right? Like, so
Yep.
there's a lot of people focus on the result, and what they really should do to get to the result faster is focus on personal excellence,
Right.
right? So,
And that's kind of what I mean. Like I guess outcome is a very vague term, right?
yeah,
Like I think people focus on a specific outcome as opposed to an outcome. Like there's always gonna the outcome is inevitable. There or an outcome is inevitable of how you act, what you do, if you go to the gym, if you don't go to the gym, that the outcome is inevitable, and you can uh, and you can pretty much chart what the outcome is going to be
yeah,
by what process you're taking to get to whatever outcome. You know what I mean?
yeah, and
You're
it's who too. Like a lot of times, like I teach my clients that your purpose of goals is not to achieve. Your purpose of goals is to grow. You know,
right.
and so if we have to, the only reason why the person doesn't have the result, they're not the millionaire or multimillionaire or whatever it is, the operator, is because they haven't grown into the person that achieves that goal. So a lot of times it's not what do I need to do, it's who do I need to be.
Right. And I think I don't know. For me, it's one thing as a soldier or adult, and then Nick's got kids and they are into sports. I've got kids and they're into sports, and it's it's hard to explain to them that winning winning the game is great, but if you win the game and you're only giving a 50% effort
Oh, yeah.
and you win the game, it doesn't matter as much as losing a game that you give 100% effort and you're doing the right things and being a leader, and you went to all of the practices and you did all the work, and then you just happened to go up against a team that had done that work but also had a something else, like they
Yeah, it's
had
like, are you playing to your
better
potential or are
athlete.
you playing to
What
your
you know what I
opponent,
mean?
right? It's
Right.
like
Right, but
100%.
it's hard to explain to them the work ethic side and how important that is.
There's a time traveler in your house, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, have you read Carol Dweck's book Mindset? Because
Yeah, oh yeah, growth mindset for sure.
yeah, because I was gonna say instead of telling them, trying to break it down to them, it's more about from her perspective, it's about rewarding the behavior with rewarding their effort with praise. So like instead of putting all the emphasis on, oh, you scored X amount of goals, it's did you really gave your best during this game today. Like I saw you how much you tried, like putting the emphasis on the growth and the potential and the performance versus the outcome, you know?
And Buddy always loves when I reference this, but I went to UTEP, which is the Yale of the Southwest, right?
True.
And so when I was getting my master's there, one of the folks was on Carol's book, and no, that's exactly like what I changed my narrative with my kids is I go, I will not yell at you for your performance. I will not yell at you if you miss a shot. I won't even say anything to you, right? But if I see you not trying,
Yeah.
like you're gonna get it from old dad in the stands. Right? If I see you disrespecting your coach, you're going to get it from old dad in the stands. But I don't care if you make the shot. I don't care if you steal the base. I don't care. Like at least you got thrown out. So what? Like next time get a bigger lead off. Yeah, run harder, whatever. But, all right, back to the book real quick because I do have some feels about this too, and I already know what you're talking about. So when you had NCO Alpha and Bravo.
Yeah.
Right. And they went to a NCOES school, which I completely trashed with our last guest on last week. So, but tell me it was SLC.
I don't know. I can't disclose because if I find out, I can't say any details about it. It was a school. They're all the same. All military schools are the same. You can go there to like check the block, or you could go there to like do your absolute best, right? And most of the time, if you go to an NCOS, you can just check the block and you'll be fine. You'll be like, you'll get through it. But it says a lot about your character if you can go there and try to like really push yourself, you know?
Right. So General Evans, Marcus type, he called me after my SLC, and he was like, "Hey, why?"
Candace.
Yeah, you have a fucking time traveler too, Dave. Everybody's got time travelers. There was nobody coming in that door before. But so he called me. He goes, "Hey, explain SLC to me," and I'm like, "Okay." Like, this is Colonel Evans at the time when he was in charge of 37, when he was in charge of 75th. I was like, it's like, it sucks. It's boring. And he's like, "Well, right." And he's like, "Well, then how come all of the commandants list weren't Rangers?" And I'm sitting here like, maybe because they didn't give a fuck. Like,
yeah.
one of the two. But like that bothered him. Like, and so that right away I thought about that.
This
When I saw that.
non-ranger was commandant's list every NCOS I did. No big deal.
Well, yeah, but you were a USAREC NCOS. Like, nobody cares.
I did infantry NCOS. It was only my last NCOS was USAREC, which was at the time was SLC.
And I will try.
Yeah.
I will trash SLC because I'm sitting there in processing, getting our classroom, and this is the first like class that they combine tankers and scouts with infantry, right? The maneuver course, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sitting there, and the first question this tanker with a beautiful mustache asks, he goes, he's like, "Hey, what's the alternate event for the PT test for the run?" And I go, What the fuck? And these guys know me. You don't, Jeremiah. But like I literally was like, "What the fuck did you just ask?"
Oh.
And I'm like, "Why are you even here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you even in this school? You can ride a fucking bike?
Yeah.
What the fuck?" So like he's like, "No, I ride a tank." And I'm like, "Yeah." And so I rode that guy pretty hard.
It's like the 82 push-ups and 82 sit-ups and just get up. They're in the PT test back in the day. What?
Minimum.
You ain't got more, bud? You ain't got more?
But this might resonate well with some people watching or listening later on the podcast. What do you like? What's your take on that? Where you had the one that was the honor grad, and then one that did kind of what Colonel Evans was mad about.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, one person's it's character and complacency. So one person is working on their character, the other person is building complacency, and that just happens in life. No matter where you go, you get a lot of guys. You guys saw it everywhere you went. They get to a certain level of achievement, and then they cool off. They just like their ego gets ahead of them. They don't think they have to try as hard, and they think that they've arrived, right? Whereas the other person, the very driven person that wants the next thing, they're constantly dream catching. They're casting a dream. They got a vision. They're working towards it, and they're trying to build themselves into somebody. So I think a lot of it has to do with vision. I'm one of the big things that helped me get into the 75th was vision, and it helped me as an officer, right? Like I had to learn how to communicate with my words into pictures where the dumbest guy could understand the mission. And most of the time that dumbest guy was me. But point is that I think that a lot of times like those guys don't have a vision for who they're going to be next. They get to the regiment, they become a Green Beret, and the vision kind of starts dimming. And they stop being so driven. Whereas the guy that's building his character, he's got a vision for where he wants to go next. He knows that either he's going to go try out for Delta, or maybe he just knows that he wants to be the best dad possible, and that's his vision. But I think vision plays a big role in it, and that's the thing that causes the one guy to kind of cool down and check out, and the other guy to keep driving forward.
I was going to go Delta Force, but I punched an instructor in the face. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody.
That might do it to you.
Yeah, ain't nobody telling me.
They're gonna tell me what to do. Yeah.
I'm in the Army. I'm in the military. Nobody's going to tell me what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Well, hey, unless you guys have more follow-ups, I think that this is an awesome show.
I have to go do some dance lessons. So
yeah, and I hope you guys, hope everybody watching and listening goes and finds the book, The Whole Man Project by Jeremiah Sullivan. Go on Amazon or like you said, Barnes and Noble. I got a free copy because we're a big deal. So, but I'm definitely will share.
I did too. I just haven't checked my mailbox in the last 2 days. So
You've been a drunk mess. All right, so get
No,
over.
no, not at all.
Hey,
Not at all.
hey, I'm gonna do your workout plan too. So I'm a victim of my
I
own.
want to
success.
do that.
Reading into this, where it's like I've been traveling, doing a lot of work, and I kind of got sloppy. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
gotta get back into it. So I'm gonna do that. And do you mind if I tag you in it?
No, tag
And
me
like,
in, bro. Yeah.
and do some
Yeah.
things because I'll do that.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
do
on
that for
Instagram.
sure.
I'm on Instagram a lot. I'll try to be more active on Facebook, especially for the next month with you guys. Seems like you're more active there, but I'll be if you guys need to get a hold of me, Instagram. I'm
The
very,
old
very
farts. The old farts are
well.
still
Facebook's good.
active on
I,
it.
The old farts are on Facebook. You're like,
I
you know
should
that?
be on Facebook more, so it's a good
Yeah.
thing. But yeah,
For
do
sure.
it. And then each of the workouts each week has a mindset focus for the week. So
Yeah, I
as you
saw that. Yep.
that's the part to really hone in on. I think you'll like that a lot.
And then what can I substitute any type of cardiovascular because I can't run anymore. Like no
Yeah,
chance.
switch it out, and instead of doing the intervals, do bike or row or something like
Okay.
that. Just match it. You'll be good.
Do the alternate event.
I'm doing the alternate. I'm not in the army anymore, buddy. I got out. I didn't stay in with my
bike.
freaking profile. All
The
right.
little the skier thing. Do this one.
The
skier deal.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
buddy, AAR.
You could also do the workout that most old guys do
This was a
at
ski
army
jumper.
gyms. No, just go to the sauna and rub shit on your knees, like oil.
Butt naked.
Yeah.
Butt
Real
naked.
real
You have to
smelly
remember, you
ice-
have
real
to be
smelly,
butt
icy
naked.
hot.
Hell, right?
Just
Like,
sit in
damn,
the
bro.
sauna, rub
What
it,
is it
rub
about
it all
being?
in your joints.
Yeah.
With like
Dude, you're spot on. You're
Fucking-
spot on, man.
some type of
All the time at my
herbal-
gym too. I'm like, man, fuck, dude.
dude.
You
I
couldn't
can't
even-
wait.
Don't-
They don't even bring the towel in, man. They just
No, dude, I
I'm given.
Just keep shaking my mixer. Just keep shaking my mixer. What rub
Just-
stuff
just-
out.
just
Yeah,
raw.
They don't even have a
butthole.
mixer. They're just sitting in there, bro. Just
Yeah, just raw butthole on the seat. Just right. Just raw dog in the seat with the. With the
he's
butt
like,
flower.
dude, I want to have that, like, be that, like, I don't give a fuck. Anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
at that
not gonna lie.
age,
The
you know?
other day, I went to the.
Well,
I
buddy,
went
you
to
go to France all the time, so you're like in like you go to all that shit like
went to
nonstop,
the-
man.
yeah,
Nudist
I went
pools
to-
and all that.
went to the
You
gym.
can't marry a lord with a beard. Like
I went to,
not France,
true.
not France.
I went to the.
That's why he's going to dance lessons too. We gotta learn that shit.
You better learn how to ball. Hey, give the AAR.
I'm about to. I'm
Anyway,
trying to tell
sorry.
you
We all
I'm
interrupted him.
on the gym, but you guys won't shut up. I
We
went
don't
to
like
the
what
gym
you're
the other
saying.
day, took a shower, and I noticed that I had done my first legit old man thing. Like I had my towel, and I threw my leg up and started to like dry myself, and I was like, "Oh, I'm old as shit!" Like I just did it. I did it. I did the thing.
kind of feels
All
good.
just flapping.
Oh
I
shit.
was like, "Oh, gotta watch that." Looked around, had to find a private so I could be like, "Yeah, you boys still doing PT in the mornings?" Yeah. Anywho, all right. So the AAR. First of all, time travel. It happens in sheds in Florida. Airbnb yourself one, and go back to the future or future to the back. I don't really know. I know that you
Back
get
to front to
you
back.
apparently
Depends on how
become-
crazy you are.
you apparently become 100 years older if you go to the future and come back a day later. I need to we need to look at some
Time
theories.
travel is exhausting, bro.
Oh,
It's
fucking
exhausting.
yeah.
It's got to be. Anyway. So there's that. And then Nick had a fucking thing.
You already forgot.
He talked about a thing. You know,
Must be
I
nice.
did write notes.
Must be nice to just ignore us.
Must be nice. There you go. Don't bitch about people's rewards when you're not there for the work. Basically, is what that one boils down to. And then, last but not least, Jeremiah. Unless you're 80
Ooh, you
plus,
corrected
and then
yourself.
it's just Jeremy solving issues. We already came up with that one. It was a great one. He's going to use that later.
Jeremiah solving issues.
My puns are the greatest. Said the greatest.
Boom,
puns.
write that down.
Anyway, the Whole Man Project, we already talked about it. You could find it on Barnes & Noble, Amazon. You could probably get it on Kindle, I would guess, if it's on Amazon. So if you still have a Kindle Fire, boom, look it up. Go through it. It's got and it's honestly a good book. It doesn't just, it's not like a workout plan. It's got like meditation plans, and your mind, body, and spirit. That's the whole thing. Just the whole.
It's a
whole
hot
man.
yoga. It's a hot
The
yoga.
whole
book.
man project. Also, if you are a woman, you can also use this. It's just you put the woe in womans. So check it out. And that's you could
What's your character, dude? You
great
crack me
show,
up, buddy.
Taylor Ben. And then just that's what we're doing. There you go. That's the AAR. That was it.
And give us real quick the dance lessons, real quick. You gotta. What are you doing? Yep, yeah. But like, what type of style are you learning? Like
ballroom
line dancing, line dance lessons.
line
Stop.
dancing.
You're from Alabama and you're going to line dancing lessons?
Yeah.
Stop. All right. Everybody knows when the like.
I figured it was something for the wedding, like your dance with the
there will
bride.
be line dance. There'll probably be a couple line dances at the wedding. I don't know. I mean, we're definitely going to do the Cupid shuffle, but nobody's got to get a fucking lesson for that.
No. That's an easy one.
Shuffle, you know what I mean? I might wobble a little bit. You know what I mean? I'll wobble.
Wobble.
With a little bit.
Wobble.
You know what I mean? I'll wobble.
That's good.
I may even Superman.
Oh, Superman!
Yeah. You don't even
awesome.
You don't even know. That being said, here's the deal: dance lessons is not something that I'm comfortable with. I don't do dance lessons I don't dance well.
You want to marry a lord? You better.
Here's the thing: every now and again,
that's it right there, huh?
If you're gonna do stuff. You got to get out of your comfort zone and do something you're not comfortable with, and get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I'm about to get uncomfortable at
talking about being uncomfortable.
I'm about to be uncomfortable as fuck. Mind dancing with some people.
Hell yeah!
Getting jiggy with it, if you will.
That's awesome.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
All right, close out, Dave.
Jeremiah, any final words, brother?
Guys, this was an awesome show. I love what you guys are doing, and I just say if anybody wants to connect with me after this, you guys can follow me on Facebook. That's cool. Or Instagram. Come over there. Just shoot me a DM. Tell me where you're coming from. But I really appreciate you guys having me, and it was an honor.
It's great to have you on here. And by the way, if you were to rate, there's a little survey after the show. If you were to rate the questions from 5 being the best questions, 1 being the least best questions, who would you rate of asking the best question?
Who would you rate?
This is so biased because Dave had the Florida questions and I'm in Florida, so obviously his were the best. No, I'm just
okay.
You had there was no room for any other questions.
No longer valid. No longer valid.
You had like 4 questions, bro. Like
I need an ego boost.
I just didn't want to give him the first place, you know.
Yeah.
Since he shaved, he's like Samson. He's got no more. He's got no more self-esteem.
Yep.
Let's get to your dance lessons, buddy.
About to.
Hey, brother, it was awesome having you on, man. This was a fun show. A lot of great talking points. I'm excited to read your book, and yes, if it's not in German, I can still read it, buddy. For everybody that tuned in late, go to VeteranTrashTalk.com. That's our website. It's got the links to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, all the good stuff. Today, I am wearing one of our best sellers currently, Fuck Hamas. All right.
Yeah.
I don't care what side you stand on, but we don't support terrorism. Go to shop.veterantrashtalk.com. That's where you can get this shirt, and we'll catch you guys next Saturday. Boom.
This is a food warning. The UN warns of an unprecedented global hunger crisis. In fact, it's predicted by 2030 that 800 million folks will struggle to feed their families, which means 2 dangerous things for you. Number 1, higher prices at the grocery store. Number 2, less food available. And when panic strikes, it will be chaos, making it even harder to get the food your family needs to survive. That's why it's vital, more than ever, to have a survival food stockpile. Introducing the deluxe 3-month survival food kit from 4 Patriots. It has 688 servings of meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, with delicious recipes like pancakes, mac and cheese, Aztec chili, and potato soup. They've even got spaghetti and lasagna. This isn't your typical survival food, and over 200,000 smart Americans agree. This is survival food that actually tastes good. But best of all, it's designed to last up to 25 years. You can stash it away and be confident that when a disaster strikes, you and your family will be ready. Go to 4patriots.com/VTT to get the deluxe 3-month survival food kit and the peace of mind you deserve.